Beautiful charge.
Whoa,
This is
what a
fine.
save!
Oh my god, this
Oh,
what a save,
the-
my guy.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see you again. We are here for more Ori All Skills action tonight. One last match, a little bit of a late one if you're on the East Coast of the United States, an incredibly late one if you're in Europe. But if you're here on the West Coast of the United States, like I am, it's the perfect time of evening for some Ori. And tonight we've got Chicken Supreme taking on Flux. My name is Vol'jin. I'm here with Lurking Assassin. Lurking, how are you doing?
What's up? I'm doing great. I'm very excited for another game of Ori tonight.
Well, what have we got here?
Well, we're about to have a game from the Swallow's Nest group between Chicken Supreme and Flux. If you want to start introducing the players, if you want, Legend.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, we'll do the quick standings recap here. Of course, this is a group stage in this tournament, and Chicken Supreme currently standing right in the center of this group, the Swallow's Nest group, one of our couple 5-person groups. He's got a 1-1 record. His best race time at 35:43, which is a very solid time. And I believe either his actual PB or close to his PB. I forget exactly where people are standing these days. And Flux, for his part, is sitting at 0-2, the bottom of the division. They 52:40, but he has a, pretty solid time there, which means there's a pretty solid opportunity for seeding going into the bracket later on. An interesting feature of our tournament, no one gets eliminated. And now we've got all sorts of cool facts on this screen here lurking in, and why don't you tell people about some of these?
Well, I guess the most interesting fact, in my opinion, on this list is that Chicken Supreme doesn't eat chicken. And apparently he also bought pizza for people. Too bad I wasn't there, so I didn't get any of that. And another thing to note is Supreme is a KBL player, while Flux is controller, so we'll see some differences in their routes. And to look at some miscellaneous facts about Flux, he ran Super Mario 64, and he does YouTube Let's Plays.
Yep. And that KBM versus controller difference being a thing to kind of pay attention to during the run. It shouldn't cause major differences any more than, of course, the runner's comparative amount of experience. Chicken being a very experienced runner of this game, took kind of a lengthy hiatus, but he's back and kind of already into the swing of things, whereas Flux, of course, is a much newer runner. He learned this for the 12-hour challenge this year. So, we should see a pretty good match. Obviously, Chicken going to be very advantaged here. Very good chance he's going to win the race, but we'll be hoping to see good play from Flux, and hopefully he'll set up a good time to help himself with that seeding in the bracket stage.
Yeah, definitely. And we've also actually seen a few upsets in this tournament, so something could happen in this run, but it is unlikely. But we never know what to expect in these matches.
Yeah, I think what we'll certainly be hoping for from Flux is improve upon that best race time of 52. Maybe even get a sub 50. That would be incredible. I know he's got it in him. That the big reason for people to kind of be still above that 50-minute mark is just typically deaths in the run. It's very hard to get those down in the first place, but once you do, your time goes down very quickly.
Yeah, it's like we've mentioned that a lot, but not dying is the biggest time save in this round.
All right, we're about to get started here. We're chilling on the main menu, going to select difficulty in just a moment, and we will get underway. Lurkin, did you ever do any casual playthroughs of this game on difficulties other than normal?
No, but I do not play. I do plan to do a One Life run very soon.
Oh,
Because I need to
baby.
get all these achievements on Steam.
One Life is a pretty fun mode, and basically kind of a masochist kind of thing. But that's neither here nor there. We're here for the gameplay, and we're getting started right now as we have Chicken and Flux heading to the Spirit Flame, pick up the first quote-unquote skill of the game that allow them to attack enemies, which they'll be needing to make use of right after that.
The game is extremely high that it looks like it's just a duplicate screen right there. But anyways, as the runners are getting signed right now, they will go into a small Frankie fight in a second. And after that, we're gonna see them head towards the first skill, or second for when they do it, but until that, we're just gonna see them go through a quick fight.
Yep. It's a very slight disagreement between the sync of the runners that was previously so close, but pretty similar fights for both runners. They both were able to get through the Frankies at a pretty good clip, and Flux smashing through that screen there. Actually, a little interesting thing, Chicken being the more experienced runner knows that you can actually escape out of that cutscene thing by pressing either B or escape on the keyboard, B button on the controller. And Flux actually is opting to mash through with A, so it costs you like maybe 1 second, but that's one of those things that like you don't totally pick up just by, you know, playing the game. You have to like be around and someone's like, oh yeah, by the way, you can just press B.
Wait, so by pressing B, do you mean like hold it, or?
No, I mean instead of mashing through the cutscene by pressing A, you just mash through it by pressing B, and it cancels it faster.
Well, I was on B, that's why I was a little confused. Like, I thought you meant to give an easier way, but that really
Oh, yeah. In either case, Ghost War is happening right now. Chicken having to take a little bit of a swim rather than just drop into the top of the water. And Flux managing to get to 1 HP, so he did just immediately take the death nice and quick. Being at 1 HP here is slightly scary, but both of the runners are picking up this health cell, which increases their max HP and also will give them a full refill.
Yeah, the full refill is definitely very helpful here, because you're going through a lot of obstacles and you do try to get to 1 health, so you're pretty much going with 1 health throughout this elbow area, which is very easy to take damage on.
Yeah, that's for sure, especially right there, that little section that Flux was navigating through. These slimes are Navy SEAL quality snipers. With absolutely no disrespect to the Navy SEALs, I mean, these slimes are really good. They're going to hit you.
Yeah, like, they're programmed very well to, like, kind of snipe you no matter what you do, unless, like, you do some very, weird movement to dodge them.
And Chicken knowing some of those little movements to pull off, so he's able to make it through very cleanly. And he picks up a level up on the way down, so his explosion takes out all those obstacles you see around there on Flux's screen. He doesn't get his level up immediately, now he gets it. He'll make sure those all get destroyed as well, and even collect some of the XP to make his level a little easier going on as we pick up wall jump.
Yeah, like, XP is definitely something to keep an eye on, because so far the XP is very routed, and it actually affects your gameplay differently, whether you get the level up on the way down or up, because if you get it on the way up, you will have higher XP. Therefore, like, you have to route differently in the next area, which is Blackwood Burrows.
Yeah, that's true. And one difference we'll see between the runs of players at a pretty high level of this game, people in like that low 30 range like Chicken is, versus those who are still kind of starting out, is you will see that they have that XP routing a lot more dialed in and precise because they need it to be a little bit more predictable so that they can always get the same outcome early on here.
Yeah, because you don't want to have to do some weird movements that just mess up your muscle memory. You kind of want to just do the exact same thing that is faster.
Oh boy, Flux getting a little bit messed up by the Trojan log there. Of course, it's not actually a log. It's named for our community member, Trojan Dude. We like to give him some crap for getting trolled by that log a couple times, but actually, he's certainly not the only one to have that happen. As you see, Flux having a little trouble with it as well. But fortunately, not a huge deal. And Chicken, for his part, is just trucking along. He is all the way into the entrance to Blackwood Burrows right now.
Yeah, he's just gonna do a real quick save anywhere, skip this cutscene, and get into that dark misery of a place.
Good cutscene skip for him, so he'll be able to make his way in to the misery of a place, as you described it. I really like that description, because it really is. The entire area, the feeling you experience is just misery. You got, there's slimes like in the way.
Slimes in your way, everything kills you, spikes everywhere, it's dark. It's just, everything that could be bad is bad.
Yeah, the darkness is particularly annoying, and that's kind of the theme of this area, of course. Here's this light orb that you're intended to carry around on your back and use that to navigate the area, but instead Chicken is just going to jump back on these platforms he previously used, and he will make a jump up to this 100 XP and gets it on the second try there, so that's a little bit of a funky jump. Pretty good job by executing that by him. And now he'll take a level up from that XP, kill a slime, grab its XP. Lots of XP going on here still.
Yeah, and again, these XPs are routed, so he needs to make sure he picks them up, all of them, but he does have Magnet to make that very much easier. Or I believe he took Magnet.
Yeah, he did.
He does wait for an extra cycle on that laser, but it didn't
Yeah.
matter because the cycle is far off.
Yeah, he almost certainly still wouldn't have been able to make that. Ooh, Flux taking a quick dip in the spikes.
He was
That's-
lucky that he had 4 health, or that would have been a death.
That's right, and coming into Black River Burrows, it's not necessarily all that common that you do have 4 health, so Flux either taking a safety save back at the Spirit Well or just getting lucky on the drop, so he was able to
He
make it
killed
through.
all of the brambles before the teleporter, and some of them dropped health for him. Or at least I didn't see him save.
That's perfect, though. That's really what you want, is just get that health, have full health going into Blackroot. Chicken getting on the platform in the last room. Flux taking the laser death, but he kind of expected it, so he set up a save right beforehand. So that was a great play by him. Good heads up thinking there.
He also catches the cycle just in time as and Supreme is pulling the lever to get ready for his darkest cutscene skip.
Yeah, the cyclers in Blackroot Burrows are pretty hard to understand. If you're doing, you know, kind of the route that Chicken is doing, where you pick up that XP, and he opted not to reload in the middle of the area. You're pretty much just hoping for whatever. Just get the best cycle you can as fast as you can. There's some manipulation you can do, but it gets more and more complicated as you go. Chicken waiting kind of a long time to do his save anywhere for that cutscene skip, but he does get it.
Could mess with you sometimes and just not skip. So I think he just wanted to play it safe in the straight saw setting.
Yeah, that's a completely reasonable thing to do. Even in PB attempts, you still have to slow down generally a little bit. Flux on his side, you see him dropping his orb on a stationary platform to be able to access this lever so he can flip the switch and raise the thing that he'll put the orb into. Chicken opted to put his orb on a moving platform, which is just slightly scarier, but not too bad. One of the things that newer runners are able to get a hang of pretty quickly, and now we've got some Frankie walk from Chicken.
Oh yeah, Frankie's always fun, especially when he just doesn't do what you tell him to. Hopefully Chicken does have a good time with him though. It's looking good so far for him.
Yep, he's going to look to position this Frankie on the edge of that platform, get him to jump over that log edge, jump into the spikes, mount over those other ones to take no damage from the right spikes, which deal 2 damage. The left ones deal 1. Don't ask why. That's just how this game works sometimes. Frankie's hopping along. He'll be able to plink right into the Frankie's face, kill him, get the XP, get the energy, open the door, take a dash glide, and dunk into the water.
He's passed through most of the difficult part.
Yep, he's in this section here. We'll have to plink away at some of these brambles as well, just to get them out of the way so that he can climb up the wall. And now he collects a 3rd energy cell.
And he can safely see if he wants to. Alright, so he's safely through. No, Flux is going through his own Frankie walk right now. He is playing it a little bit safer, I feel like, or slower, but that doesn't matter much.
Yep, Chicken not going for the hard grotto cycle here. You can skip into that crusher that was moving up before it actually closes, but that's a pretty precise sequence of movements. Chicken hasn't learned it yet, so he didn't even bother pretending to go for it. Flux is at the end of his Frankie walk. He's got the Frankie at low HP. Oh
Wow.
goodness.
That was so scary.
Yeah, that having to magnet in the XP and then, oh goodness, okay. The Frankie jumped over him. That was nice. So he's almost good to go, just needs to not jump into any brambles. Chicken is picking up double jump now. Should see some blind movement from him. Flux dodges the crushing thing, gets his energy cell, and immediately drops the safety.
Okay. Both of them are through there safely, and as he cannot see what Chicken's doing, he just kind of moved over here when the camera was just focused on the tree.
Yep, that was good execution of the blind movement by him. It can be pretty challenging. All you have to go on at that point is audio cues, but you can also kind of use the timing of your own movements, the dashes and stuff, to kind of get a sense of how that's going.
Yeah, but sometimes the audio cues fail me, at least.
Yeah, I mean, maybe a garage door opens below your room or something, and you just can't hear it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That always happens. Anyway, so Supreme almost had first try auto skip, but he kind of fell at the very top. But he gets it, and he's passed safely. Well,
Nice
I shouldn't
job.
say safe.
Oh,
Meanwhile,
ouch.
Flux did take a death trying to get down to the double jump tree.
Fortunately, in the grand scheme of things, that particular kind of death, since you've just set up a ghost door, it's not too bad. That one's also kind of annoying. This section is pretty challenging, to be honest. It's you know, a lot of top level runners make it look very obviously easy, and it's not that hard or anything. It's just that for new runners, it's very easy to kind of get tripped up since everyone else kind of takes it as just a matter of course.
Yeah, like you see other people do it, and you think it's not a big deal. You could get through it, and then you just keep getting like hit by that Frankie, hit by that slime. Because there's some specific movement. It's just some dash gliding, but if you don't know about that, it makes it very difficult.
Yeah, that's I think the mark of, you know, kind of what sets apart a really good speed game from just a good one, is that there's so much going on that if you just watch someone else do a run and then you try to copy it, you're still going to have a very hard time with things that, you know, for other runners are just quote unquote easy. Like, they'll be easy for you too eventually, just it takes a bit.
And it's also like a lot of like micro movement that you don't really think about when you just watch it, but then when you pick up the controller, or keyboard, or mouse, and you try to do it yourself, you notice like this is way more in depth than it looked like.
Yeah, and speaking of tricks in that vein, that grotto skip is one of those such tricks. And a second try grotto skip for Flux, so very
That
good
save
job by him.
Flux. Okay. He does try to take a save anywhere to save that, but his save was too far away, so he couldn't just kind of rekindle and walk into the cutscene zone.
That was, again, that was good awareness by him. Clearly, you know, he's at some point made that mistake and he learned from it, so he knows what's going on. And again, that's what speedrunning is about. Meanwhile, Chicken is just, again, he's just plowing along all the way at the Ginso tree already. He'll be entering there shortly. Just one more cutscene skip, drop a save there, rekindle it as you enter the cutscene trigger. And that just saves a little bit of having to wait for Gumo to walk away with the water vein, the key to this dungeon that we already have and have just put into the door.
Yeah, I think it's just a cool way to make it look like we have two water veins, but he's into the vertical tree right now.
Sorry, the what tree?
The vertical, because it's very vertical and has a lot of verticality in it.
You know, ooh, as Flux takes a death from that dropping slime there, and that one's actually a little bit more costly, but not too bad. Chicken, yeah, making good work of this dungeon. I have heard someone describe this as being a more horizontally oriented dungeon, actually, in their opinion, and I can kind of see where they're coming from, because there's all these teleporters that make it like there are some parts that you navigate upwards, but then there's a lot of parts where you are actually just going left and right.
Yeah, I could see that actually, like right here, in this teleport room, which is kind of going right and left.
Yeah, a little bit of following, but otherwise pretty horizontal. So that's an interesting take on it. Meanwhile, Flux did make his way up out of Gumo's hideout and took a safety save on the Spirit Well there. Always a good choice. Chicken is waiting on the shooter cycles in this room with this quote-unquote puzzle. But it's a pretty straightforward one, so he will be through and making his way into the mini-boss right now.
Curious to see how many cycles he gets, because this mini-boss is very difficult to get optimally.
Yeah, he's using the shot mashing technique, quote-unquote, using the scroll wheel on your mouse, which makes it pretty straightforward to get the optimal speed of shooting, the optimal amount of damage per second. And he does get what appeared to be a 5 cycle, so that's really good execution.
I think the perfect is generally 4, but 5 is like what people aim for.
Yeah, 4 is very difficult, and I think we saw either Ronnie or I want to say Wilson in a race get like very close to a 4 cycle, but not quite pull it off. So even like the top 3 runners in the world have a very difficult time pulling off a 4 cycle on that boss.
Chicken did accidentally pick up that health, so I think it will mess up with his ghoster a little bit, but it's only like a couple seconds. Yeah, he lost to death.
Yeah, normally runners will damage boost on the spikes directly above that door to take a death. Chicken instead went off to the left because it's a little easier to take multiple hits toward the left there. But he does pick up Bash, so he's making very good time here. He's got a sub 16 Bash. I haven't seen any... Ow, okay, well... I was just gonna say, I
Commentator's
haven't
curse.
seen any major mistakes or deaths from him.
The commentator's curse is definitely real.
I believe the Speed Gaming channel has an emote for that, so if you're interested in supporting Speed Gaming, the fantastic network that is playing home to our tournament, then you can certainly consider subscribing and get access to that.
That'd be something fun to spam in chat when you see these instances.
Yeah, in fact, we got confirmation from our truck that Chicken was 3 seconds ahead of PB. Unfortunately, he might not be anymore, but we'll see. Chicken's been playing very well, and you know, if he's got a 35, I'm sure there's, given his play, his level of play so far, I'm sure there's room for him to save even more time going forward.
Oh yeah, like that death wasn't like, it was kind of costly, but it wasn't like, it was like maybe 10 seconds at most or so. So PB is still very much in his reach for this race.
Meanwhile, we had a brief flux on Flux's stream.
GDI.
And it came back now, so you're seeing Flux's gameplay as he's still working on the first half of Ginso here. Chicken working on the second half, just took out the mini-boss, who's kind of a non-event, very straightforward fight, and he will be teleporting back to Moon Grotto to be able to enter the swamp area early.
I just got more word from the truck that Voligen is actually getting fired from commentary.
Well, we've got word from Voligen actually that you can't do that because I'm the head organizer of the tournament, so get wrecked. Less than 3. Anyway, we're making our way into Swamp real soon. We'll see whether Chicken decides to skip his cutscene. It looks like he will. He does not want to have lasers here, so he'll go ahead and despawn those by skipping the cutscene. A little bit of
there's like only one person who actually doesn't skip laser.
I think there's a couple now. People are coming around to not skipping it. I know Sigma doesn't, Lucy doesn't. She was kind of the first person to say, no, screw this.
Oh, I didn't know Sigma skipped it.
But here we go at Swamp Entry. Precise bashes, very much like Sorrow Bash. For anyone who might have seen older runs of this game and hasn't seen this particular trick, you got to get this frog into this area here, lure his shot to break this ground, and then use a specific pattern of bashes here to lure another shot all the way up to the ceiling and break that too. And Chicken is now in to Thornfelt Swamp way earlier than he should be.
Yeah, and just something to note about that second platform, like the way the game is programmed is that Frog's shot, the highest it could go is where Ori is when the shot is fired. That's why he kind of bashed himself into the ceilings. Like he wanted to pretty much be sticking to that wall when the frog shoots, so the shot could actually reach that area.
Yeah, that's a really good point about exactly how that trick works. It's very challenging to pull off, and part of it is because that learning that jump timing to get that specific position takes a little bit, and it's a fair bit of practice. A lot of people get walled by both that trick and Sorrow Bash when they're learning this game.
Oh yeah, they're two of the most difficult tricks. Like, I guess a good rule of thumb is if you're manipulating enemies, then it's difficult.
Oof, another one of those not super costly but not really desirable deaths by Chicken, just right after the stomp tree, but still, just a couple seconds, 10 seconds, 12 seconds, that he'd really rather not be losing. But that said, the gap between him and Flux still very substantial. Chicken not having any problems, maintaining the lead that kind of you would expect based on that PB differential.
And in the meantime, Flux did have some troubles with redirecting one of these shots to break the wall. It took him like 4 or 5 cycles, but he got past it and he's about to do his P2.
Yeah, we glossed over a little bit with Chicken as he was working on the second half of Ginso. I was confused these two for some reason. But the idea here, Flux needs to drop into this little corner near these spikes without being out of range of the door. You saw there, the keys fell out of the door suddenly. That would have meant that he'd failed the dupe, but fortunately he had the health to take an extra damage, so he did get it successfully on the second try. And a perfect Kuro cutscene skip by Chicken in the meantime, while I was talking about that.
Yeah, that was very clean. Like, he pretty much just walked up to that position and got the perfect bash.
Chicken making good use of the bash glide technique. Another one that we kind of gloss over sometimes, but when you bash, if you release your directional input after the bash, and you're bashing to like the left or right, you'll actually get a boost of speed in that direction, and you'll just keep it as long as you don't hit any directional input. So you can actually go pretty fast as long as you do that. And on keyboard and mouse, it's a pretty free technique. Whereas on controller, you have to like release the analog stick carefully to make sure that you keep your angle, but also get that speed.
Yeah, that's something that I usually don't think about being a KBM player. You don't think of these, you know, like controller differences, and I never thought about it being difficult because I just took it for granted.
Yeah, like on KBM, bash gliding as a technique is just free. Like,
Yeah.
you just get it by virtue of the fact that you aim with the mouse, and the mouse doesn't otherwise provide directional input. Whereas on controller, you have to think about it every single bash, and it can be very challenging. It's just one of those weird things. You know, there are some things on controller that are more straightforward. Personally, I find movement, like just navigating walls and doing platforming, to be a lot easier on controller than on keyboard, but bash gliding in particular is a big advantage for KBM.
So just when it comes to like Ori specific movement, that very complicated things, this is where it gets more like keyboard favored.
In any case, the nice thing is they both clearly work, and we have like top runners using both input methods, which is very impressive, given the differences. Lurking Assassin. Lurking Assassin, wow. No, Chicken Supreme. He's racing. You're not. You're here.
I'm just
Chicken
hanging out.
Supreme making his way up into Valley of the Wind. Doing this trick called Fast Thompless pretty shortly.
And they're both doing enemy manipulations that we were talking about. So hopefully they both get commentator's curse happens, but Chicken's shot did look good to me. He just needs to get up to that cell. Perfect.
Very nicely done. Clean Fast Thompless for Chicken.
In the meantime, Flux is having some trouble getting that frog onto that ledge. And sadly, the frog cannot swim, so if he gets in the water, he's just gonna instantly die, and you have to reload your save.
Yep, he's trying to just trying to get that down. This again, very challenging trick you're seeing from Flux. Getting it first try is not easy. He does get that shot this time. He just needs to do this manipulation now to get Ori's height high enough that the shot will be able to reach the ceiling. That was almost there. Trying a second time.
That looks good. No.
Oh no! And he dashed into the frog.
I think he thought he got it, so he just kind of dashed towards him. Anyways, Chicken is doing Zora Bash. If you could look at the left side for a few seconds to see how that goes.
So it's very good. Good manipulation of the
That
bird.
was perfect.
Yep, perfect bash at the end there. Everything was very clean about that Sorrow entry, and that's really the ideal to aspire to, is just get those clean bashes. Flux still having a little trouble. This was, you know, as you described, the thing about that projectile is the height you're at when he shoots is the highest height you can get that shot. And Flux is having a little bit of difficulty. Chicken reloading his file. It looked like he might have messed up the rocket jump, maybe killed the frog or burned an energy.
I'm not very sure, but I think he ran out of energy.
While we looked away, Flux did manage to make his way in. And he will be heading to the Stomp Tree. Chicken, I'm guessing, must be low on energy because I know he made a safety save after Sorrow Bash to make sure that he wouldn't lose that progress, but he also seems to be avoiding a rocket jump further up Sorrow. And we'll see whether he has energy for a Ghost Door here.
I want to say he only had one energy, so he wanted to use it on that Ghost Door instead of that rocket jump.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm not even sure which one actually saves more time. But now we get to see both runners synced at a skill tree for once. Chicken, of course, picking up Charge Jump, Flux picking up Stomp.
Yeah, this is definitely tied right now.
Oh no. I think almost the exact same kind of death for Flux leaving Stomp. But now he takes the second one. You know, I think this being actually another one of those like movements that is surprisingly not free relative to what it looks like when people do it in runs.
You also need
As
to
in-
remember this water is poison, so if Flux actually, like, he was very close to falling in that water, and if he did, he would have no escape from it and he would have died.
Yeah, you can barely escape it as long as you have 2 HP, but it's not easy and you have to react quickly. Most people, when they're falling in that water, don't really expect to be falling into that water. So
Okay, so Flux did take a safety save before this frog manipulation to get to the cell, so I would say that's a good call from him because this is a very tricky jump. And... Okay, he's there, and Chicken just got his Sunstone, so he's ready to finish the game, but he just want to get a couple more skills because this is all skills.
yep, 2 to be precise. We've got Climb and Grenade remaining. Climb necessitating the longest single detour in the run, going all the way to Misty and then having to leave Misty manually. Flux went ahead and tried for a Kuro cutscene skip. He doesn't have the like setup for that practiced and you know memorized, but I think his thinking is like, why not just go for it? Maybe I get it by accident, and that's really not a bad thought.
There's no reason for you not to go for it. It doesn't really lose you time to attempt it. Kind of like the grotto cycle thing. Like,
Exactly.
just go for it. Maybe you get lucky and get it.
The setup for it is pretty precise and challenging. So, at some point before you've really practiced it, you might as well just go for luck as opposed to
I
lining
have done
something
it
up
once
precisely.
before learning it.
Really?
Yeah, I just kind of bashed and it worked.
Totally free, dude. The freest trick.
Yeah.
Alright,
Meanwhile,
Flux is.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Supreme is making very good progress through Misty. He didn't have any major movement mistakes, so it's looking good for him.
Yeah, Flux on his part, he was escaping from the 5th energy cell, and I was going to call attention to the way to escape from that cell is actually surprisingly challenging as well. Again, in that category of you think this might look kind of free when you just watch a run, but actually it requires some thought and practice.
Yeah.
Here we go, the tree sync up again.
At another sync. This game's so tight. It's insane.
Chicken is playing very well, and we've been getting the PB updates from our stats folks in the truck, and we're hearing, as of charge jump, he had been ahead of PB by 11 seconds. We'll get the climb update shortly, but it sounds like he's still been on good pace, and he has not made major...
GDI Vula, you had to say it.
Why? Come on, Chicken.
And apparently Flux is also 30 seconds ahead of his PB, so they're both having great personal times.
Nice. I had a feeling Flux was going to be on good pace once, you know, that swamp entry didn't take that too many retries, and he's also kept the deaths to a pretty good minimum. Obviously, a couple have occurred. He had one back at like double jump. He had a couple leaving stomp, but these have been pretty low cost deaths. So
yeah, he didn't have any major deaths, so that's really what matters the most.
oh, good lord, Chicken having a scary time with all of these spikes, all of which deal 3 damage. Chicken's got 4 HP. He did not opt to collect a 5th safety cell earlier, so...
He did take a spike earlier, so he has 1 HP right now, I believe. He does take a safety save, so...
Now he's back to 3,
like
and
that.
he's got some safety. I'm a big fan of safety saves lurking.
Oh yeah, definitely. You don't appreciate them until you have that one death without a safety save, and you're like, okay, maybe I should do those.
I can't imagine ever dying in any situation and actually wishing you had a safety save.
Chicken did have not the ideal mini boss fight, but it was still very clean one cycle.
So Flux is not going for fast Stompless, and he's just having a slight amount of trouble luring that spider shot up at a specific angle to be able to get to that cell, but he does get it now, and he'll just make his way manually kind of up to the stomp rocks and stomp them onto Kuro's head instead of going for fast Stompless. This is only about a 15-second time save if you get the trick first try. So again, this is one of those things, as a newer runner, you can definitely just not even do the trick, and it's totally reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like for being like new and like still like not having like, these very great times, like in the low 30s, it's really not worth it. Like the risk is way greater than the reward for this trick, because missing that cell could give you a lot of problems.
Phew, that's an understatement for sure. Alright, intentional death from Chicken. That one is to set up, of course, the door opening glitch we've talked about a couple times. You hold down the lever, rekindle the save while holding it, and then the door just gets forced open after you respawn. And he makes a fast laser cycle as well. He'll make... Oh!
He is spike in the face, but he's fine.
Oh, the bird! No,
Get
stay away, birdie!
A save!
Oh god!
That looks scary.
Holy crap, dude.
That slime shot was going straight at him as he opened the save menu.
Yep, and then the mortar worm also threw a shot in there as well, but he barely escaped both.
But he is safely to the light grenade tree.
And there was no tree sync up this time because the feather which Flux just picked up does not have a tree associated with it, alas.
It would have been amazing if we saw three things, but 2 is very perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's alright. But in any case, Chicken is on his way to the final dungeon. He just has to finish up his run now. He has collected all of his skills, fulfilled one of the requirements of the category. All he has to do is not go out of bounds or use teleport anywhere for the remainder, and he will be fine.
Which, just an interesting fact, there is a very cool out of bounds right here using this boulder, so...
Oh goodness!
He could do it right there to survive, but he didn't, because this is against the rules.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, he's safe. Meanwhile, Flux did get a first try Sora Bash. That was pretty amazing from his part.
That is incredible, to be honest. Like, anytime you can pull off a first try Sora Bash, you feel good about it, but especially like if you're a newer runner, when you manage to do that in a run, it feels so good. I'm sure Flux is just like, you know, his heart is probably pounding now, to be honest, because he's like, oh crap, first try Star Bash, like I'm on a really good pace now. Okay, so Sigma wanted to provide an update from the truck that if Flux doesn't die here, he's gonna gold this split by like 1,000,000 years.
And he
That is
didn't
what
die,
Sigma
so
said. He
this
didn't
looks
die.
like 1,000,000 gold from my part.
Alright. Mount Horu entrance from Chicken, and we will be seeing some door warp. Now, a lot of people have been doing the guess how many door warp attempts thing.
First try, obviously.
But I don't much like that. I just want to see them nail it on the first try. And even when they don't nail it on the first try like just now, I want to see a good old third try.
And, yeah, you know what you wanted.
Perfect, dude. Flux setting up his Terror Break here. He had the save in the right spot, but he has to take the death on the upward jump from that charge jump. He gets it this time, so now he's through. He's going to wait for that laser to pass before he makes his way up, so he'll be able to pick up the Sunstone. The key to the final dungeon where Chicken has just begun the final escape, and he will be making sure that he does not take any damage until the final swim section.
Yeah, because he is running 6 health, so he will have at most 2 HP to spare, and everything does more than 3 damage here, so if you can do the math for this, it's not enough for him to survive. He is safely through almost everything.
Here comes the swim. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
That safety health game again. And we're not gonna see a big owl right here.
What we will see is some grenade jump and hopefully cut off half the final cutscene. Not quite lurking.
The second try.
Alright, don't you just
stop.
This is again a frame perfect input. He's got a grenade and then jump on consecutive frames. And of course, if you know how frames work, that's pretty challenging. So Chicken having a little bit of trouble with it.
Yes, in this game.
That is correct, yeah, 60. So, 1/16, sorry, 160, 0.016 seconds. I don't know what his energy count is. He has half an energy left to still pull off the trick. You need to
He has
have
one more attempt at it.
correct. You need to have one half of an energy to throw a grenade. So here it is. He misses it
Sadly,
again.
no more half cutscene. It doesn't matter. He's still getting the win.
Yeah, of course. So Chicken does go away with the victory today. Well, unfortunately, was already out of reach of PB, so this doesn't cost him the PB or anything like that. But he still will able to win, and you know, he'll have one more chance to improve his best race time in his fourth race of the group. Flux, meanwhile, working on Misty.
He is playing some safe Misty, but that's what I want to see from him right now. He is on pretty good PB pace right now, so I think the biggest thing right here is that he needs to not have any catastrophic deaths, and it should be very good for him.
Yep, and you're seeing a lot of use of Feather and Misty, always a good decision. Gives you lots of time to react to the spikes that are fast approaching you from below. And he made good use of it in that little backwards question mark corridor to just make sure that he didn't poke any of those spikes with Ori's nose.
Backwards question mark. I never saw it like that, but that does make some sense. And now he's going through the S-shaped spikes, or I think that's what it is. Yeah.
I view this one as just a forwards question mark. That's
Forwards question mark. Alright.
Well, GG to Chicken, crossing the finish line behind the tree, and his
37-12.
confirmed final time. Yep, 37:12.
It is unfortunately neither a PB or a best race time for him, but it's still a great time. It's just like, it's good to see that good of a performance by him in this race.
Yeah, agreed. And Chicken has been a cool story too because of what a lengthy break he took from this game. And he was not originally planning to participate as a player in the tournament. He was planning to help volunteer. He wanted to do commentary. He wanted to, do stats. He wanted to, you know, provide some assistance to us. And we were like, yeah, absolutely, man. We're glad to have you back in the community. And then he went to AGDQ and, you know, hung out with us a little bit and was like, okay, I want to play the game again. So here he is, you know, with barely like under a month of D-Rust, and he's already, I would say, pretty much gotten back to his previous level of competence and improved. He got a PB recently, so
Yeah, his PB is like, I think from 4 days ago or so.
yeah, so that's just awesome to see. And not just the brand new players are like showing a lot of improvement in this tournament. We're seeing a lot of, you know, veterans come back and be like, you know what, I'm gonna improve too. I wanna get back on the train, and it's been really fun to participate in again.
Yeah, that's like the perfect time for you to come back when we have such an amazing tournament going on.
Lurking, I want to give you an update. Are you ready for this?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm very ready.
All right. At Climb Tree, Flux was 4 minutes ahead of his PB.
Wait, 4 full minutes? Like 40 seconds?
That's correct. No additional seconds, no fewer seconds. Exactly 240 seconds compared to his PB. So
That's
Flux is
amazing.
on fantastic pace.
And he had a very clean second part of Misty, so I'm really hoping to see even more time save from him in that next split.
Let's see how this mini boss goes for him right now. This is one potentially irritating spot in this. Wow, that was a very unusual charge jump. He almost followed the worm's hitbox all the way up. Takes an unfortunate death there, but that's why he made the safety save. A little bit of damage here. Gotta be a little careful with your
Worm has
hitbox.
very little health. Okay, perfect. He
There
should get
we
a level up right here, and he does. He's back to full health and energy and ready to go back like grenade.
Yep, and again, seeing the payoff from that safety save he made right before the mini boss saved him from a potentially very significant time loss. And oh, look right here,
Another safety save coming in handy.
he knew that that was a dangerous spot for him. I think he might have taken a death recently on that, or I know I've seen another runner take a death recently on that. He said, "I know that this is a scary spot. Let's put a save down."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen a few people die there recently, so it's always a good choice to go for that.
We're gonna cross the big gap back to the other side of Valley of the Wind, or we're gonna take a little bit of a trip
Let's
down.
see. So it's probably just gonna rocket jump or something.
This is kind of always a test. You're never sure if a particular runner knows backup strats for something weird like this. This doesn't happen that often. He is able to come up with a good backup here, though.
Okay, that was a pretty solid backup.
A rocket jump would have been faster, but it really, like, you can't necessarily immediately come up with, oh yeah, I'm just gonna do a rocket jump, right? You have to kind of go through your panic brain and be like, okay, hold on, what do I do?
Yeah, and plus that would cost him 1 energy, so if he wants to take any safety saves right here, especially since he already took one, he is 1 energy short, but so he couldn't really afford just kind of throwing away more energy right now, because he does need 1 save right here to open that door and another save to skip the cutscene.
Yeah, and he could have actually taken a save at the Spirit Well, which is about 4 seconds or something, but you see he's already kind of routed that out of his gameplay and decided, no, I don't need that right now. I mean, at this point in the run, that is. And he's going to play around that. So eventually, at some point in his learning, he'll be using all that energy and he'll have it routed out carefully. But right now, he's just setting the basis for that.
I think he is at 1 HP right now. He's through the laser. He is at 1 HP, so hopefully he doesn't have the same problems as Chicken with all these birds.
Oh god. Oh god, no, the baby!
Okay.
The recovery.
I think he's out of energy, and that's why his...
Why did the Baneling come back? Go away.
He was out of energy. He's gonna have to pick up that crystal and... Oh, like...
Oh, he's
Is
not
he opting to play
getting
the
enough
minigame?
height. Oh god,
It is a
lurking.
very scary minigame, I could tell you that.
Dude,
And I
this
did not
killed
know
me
how to
so
do
many
it. I would
times.
die here. He does it perfectly. It's like he practiced that part.
He may very well have done. Oh, the bird is in the way, but he gets it away. Sets up his save anywhere. Walks into the cutscene trigger. Learns his ability. He is good to go. The fade out happens and just prevents him from opening the menu for a moment, but he's able to wait it out and then do so afterwards.
Yeah, he's at light grenade and he's ready to finish up the game and hopefully get that sick PB.
Yeah, and not only would that PB be obviously a very substantial improvement over his previous PB, not only would that PB get him into the sub 50 club, which is a big milestone for any runner, but it would also substantially improve his position going into the bracket stage of this tournament.
Yeah, because the brackets are set up by what seed you are and your best race time, so the better race time you have, the better off you will be in the brackets.
Ooh, I like that quick adaptation where he almost...
Very...
He was
It
about
was a
to
good
charge to his
reaction,
own death,
just-
but... Alright, update from the truck. It's 2 minutes and 50 seconds now, so a little bit of time lost on that second segment of Misty. He may be playing it even safer than normal, hoping to protect his PB. Not a bad choice, but hopefully it will not result in him, losing too much more time. He definitely is capable of a very solid sub 50 here, so let's see how this last little bit of the run goes.
Just need to pray for a good door warp and final escape, and that PB is Flux's. He gets it.
Yeah, I believe Flux may still not be doing grenade jumps, so you'll probably be looking at the 1 minute and 20 second walk to the end once he's past the final threshold there. But we'll see. I know he has practiced it, but I don't know that he's practiced it enough to be comfortable with it. We'll see what he decides.
And the thing is, with grenade jumps, it's unlike what we talked about earlier. It's not one of those tricks that you could just go for and hope they work, because if you're off in the position, you could soft lock, and that's something that really doesn't want right now. So.
Yeah, that would be... Each soft lock is a loss of the entire length of the escape, so you definitely don't want that. And of course, the big wild card here is door warp. We don't know how many attempts it took him on his PB. We don't know how many attempts it's going to take him here. We're going to see. But for newer runners who haven't practiced this trick to a painful extent, this can be effectively luck-based. You just kind of have to mash up and hope.
As he's doing, can we have a bunch of take energy in chat to give him more energy so he can get past that and get that PB? First try.
How
the
about that?
It's the energy.
Dude, people haven't even had time to type the emote
Hey,
in chat. Flux bringing
It's the
his
thought that
absolute
matters.
A game today. So it's 3 minutes and 15 seconds ahead of his PB right now, and he has a very good shot at saving even more time on the final escape. So here we go for Flux. He just needs to dodge all the lava, all the rocks, take no damage. He does have 7 health, so that gives him 1 extra health worth of safety, which actually may allow him to take 1 hit, but his swim would have to be perfect after that point.
I think it depends on hit on what, because remember, this lava, for example, is insta-kill, so lava under him is insta-kill, so...
That's right, the fire down here is 4 damage, so you can't take this either.
Maybe eating an elemental shot? But I'm not sure either.
Hopefully not. I
Either way,
believe the bowlers are the thing.
he's into the water.
Alright, you see that damage taking away. He's got his UI visible at the bottom. He manages to get out with 5 damage. So now he could even take a hit from the small rocks at the top here and still be okay. He manages not taking damage, and he will pass up on the grenade jump, make his way to the finish.
Very big PB by him.
That is going to be a massive PB. He is going to get the sub 50 in style. This is going to be a 48 and change. GG to Flux.
GG. Just gonna have to enjoy that final cutscene for a little bit.
Meanwhile, we can ruminate a little bit on how this race went overall. Pretty good job by both runners. Chicken coming within about 1.5 minutes of his PB, I believe. Flux, of course, achieving the new one. You know, what did you like that you got to see here today from both runners?
Mainly just seeing a PB in the race. That always is just very nice and very pleasing to see someone PB under those tournament nerves, under that pressure. Like, that was great, great performance by Flux.
Yeah, for me, it was, I think from both runners, really, we got to see a lot of, you know, on-the-fly decision-making as far as, hey, maybe at this point I want to drop a safety save. I want to make sure that I'm not going to get ruined if I take a death here. And particularly for Flux, knowing all those moments when that was potentially likely to occur. Look at the Naru hops there for a little bit of swag, putting an exclamation point
Optimizations.
on his 48-21, his new PB. GG Flux.
GG Flux. And I believe we will be having Chicken for an interview in just a few seconds, so it's something to look forward to. I think he will be joining us very soon.
Yeah, let's go ahead and grab him in here. Welcome in, Chicken. Congrats on the victory, and you know, tell us, as always, you know, what were your thoughts on your performance of that race?
I was pretty happy with it, except for grenade jump again. I think I did the same thing in my last race. I think I'm gonna have to go spend a half an hour practicing the timing on those grenade jumps again. But aside from that, there was just sort of spaghetti distributed throughout, but it was always pretty quick deaths. It wasn't too bad, so.
While you are mentioning spaghetti, you're actually ahead of your PB, like for a good amount of the run. I think like at climb you were like 17 seconds ahead, I believe, or something. So even though you say spaghetti, it was still a great run.
Yeah, I got basically all the tricks, I think, first try, which I was pretty happy with. It was just these weird deaths everywhere. I was probably ahead of the PB. I couldn't see my splits; they were hidden, but later in the game, because my PB missed Crow cutscene and also Stompless. So.
Oh wow. Okay, so lots of opportunities there due to those awkward tricks in the middle of the run. All right, we're gonna grab your opponent as well. Bring him in here, Mr. Flux. Congratulations on your PB, your sub 50 in this race, and go ahead and tell us your feelings and thoughts right now.
Well, I PB'd the last race, which was actually that was the last time I even did a run, which was a couple days ago. But I wasn't expecting to get another PB of pretty much the exact same amount in the next race. But I don't know. I was just kind of in the zone the whole time, honestly. I was feeling pretty good most of that run.
Well, you do still have one race, so maybe a sub 45 will happen there.
Who knows?
Hopefully.
I just wanna draw everyone's attention. Like if you're watching and you haven't done a lot of speedrunning yourself, like just listen to like the excitement in Flux's voice. Like you can just hear it. That's the feeling of a PB, dude. I love that feeling every time I get to experience it. It's great.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's definitely exciting, especially because I'm between my first race and that second race. I was kind of in a point where I wasn't practicing all as much as I admittedly should have. And then, like right before the other race the other day, I just kind of started practicing a bunch more and ended up getting that PB I needed. And then I got another PB today. I feel like I'm kind of. It just kind of feels like I'm in a pretty good improvement pace right now, and it feels good until it probably won't after I kind of hit another flat spot. But hopefully I'll improve a little bit more before then.
Yeah, well, black tails are something that happens to everyone, but then we always get past it and it feels amazing again. So, GG on that race.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let me throw one more question in at you, Flux, that I was just very curious about, and that is that you pulled off that first try Sorrow Bash and chained that into first try clean Sorrow Pass, and that is, regardless of kind of what level you're at, that is very difficult to do and rewarding to pull off. And my question is kind of, did your heart rate like kind of double when that happened, or like did you start getting in your own head?
A little bit, yeah. That in particular was a pretty exciting, especially after I had as much trouble as I did on the swamp entry compared to last time. But no, when I got through Sorrow Bash and just steamrolled through that, I'm guessing that was definitely a gold split on my charge jump, and I'm going to have some trouble beating that. But no, that was definitely really exciting getting through there as well as I did, and I wasn't expecting that, to be perfectly honest. But it's.
Well, I do have one more question for you, and it's about that area right before Grenade, how you went to that room and actually played the game it's supposed to be. Have you practiced that area, or did you just kind of go through those lasers, get it first try?
I hadn't really practiced that. For some reason, I don't know exactly what was going on, but my rocket jump just wasn't going off to get up the fast route. So I was just to the point where it's like, okay, I only have one more energy, and I have to save that for the save to get through the cutscene skip. So I just kind of decided to just go through and wing it, and I was pretty nervous about that, but fortunately it worked out pretty well, and I managed to not lose nearly as much time as I could have.
Yeah.
Well, great job on that race. Great job on your PB, of course. We'll throw it back to Chicken. We got one more question for you, and that, we've got the group standings shown right now. You, of course, are 2-1, the best time of 35:43. Your remaining opponent is Rufus, and Rufus is a pretty skilled runner, but it's also been a pretty long layoff for him as far as playing this game. So, going into that race, what is your approach, and what do you expect from Rufus? And are you worried at all, or are you gonna just go in hardcore and kick his butt?
Well, I think Rufus is definitely pretty rusty right now. I don't think he's been trying to PB lately, but on the other hand, I think his first race he got like a mid 40s or something, or a low to mid 40s, and then his second race the 38. So he's definitely getting his skills back quickly. So I think it could be a pretty close race. I think I'm just going to go practice my grenade jumps and just try to see what I can do, but it could be a close race.
All right, well, I'll be looking forward to that for sure. I'll also be looking forward to tomorrow's race, which will be the next time we'll be on. Lurking, what have we got tomorrow?
Our next match tomorrow is between Eviona and Cubby, which both have been having very amazing plays through this entire tournament. So it's going to be an amazing match. It's going to be tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. So in about 16 hours from now, 15 hours, it's gonna be on Speed Gaming 2, I believe. But we're gonna have to update you on that. But it should be there.
Yep. And we'll also have Elo Jimny versus Xyrla coming to you from this same group tomorrow, right after Evie and Cubby. So come on by to Speed Gaming 2 tomorrow and enjoy some Ori action. But for now, that's going to do it for us. Lurking, as always, pleasure joining you tonight.
Thank you, Villa. Thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Have a good night. To break this ground and then use a specific pattern of bashes here to lure another shot all the way up to the ceiling and break that too. And Chicken is now in effect based on that PB differential.
In the meantime, Flux did have some troubles with redirecting one of these shots to break the wall. It took him like 4 or 5 cycles, but he got past it and he moved on to his PB. Commentators curse happens, but Chicken's shot didn't look good to me. He just needs to get up to that cell. Perfect.
Very nicely done. Clean, fast off.
Zorabash, if you could look to the left side for a few seconds to see how that goes.
So it's very good. Good manipulation of the bird.
That was perfect.
Yep, perfect bash at the end there. Everything was very clean. It'll make
He's spike in the face, but it's fine.
oh, the bird! No, stay away, birdie.
A save.
Oh god.
That looks scary.
Holy crap. Alright. But in any case, Chicken is on his way to the final dungeon. He just has to finish up his run now. He has collected all the skills, fulfilled one of the requirements of the category. From the small rocks at the top here, and still be okay. Manages not taking damage, and he will pass up on the grenade jump, make his way to the finish.
Very big PB by him.